$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Suleiman Rahim here. That's my covenant, breaking 7 seals. As of today, no one is taking advantage of that, brothers and sisters. There's a reason for that. Because they're all out there, they're all over now, playing all these old tapes and everything, trying to make him relevant, even though he's incontinent. He's pissing the shit in a bag, right? Incoherent. But they make all these claims, but no one's ever, in the years just been up there, has stepped up, and they're all aware of it. You get that $5,000, not a hint anything, not a challenge anything. There's a reason for it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. And there are a lot of issues today, brothers and sisters, so I'm going to have to do this in 2 parts. It's a struggle every day, and maybe you might see why as we get into this. Because he does represent Elijah Muhammad in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And I'm trying to bring you up to date of the challenge that you're up against, like Elijah Muhammad said. He told his brother during theology time, brother, you don't have no idea what you're up against. And then he said he'll ask Master Muhammad, can he tell us? And he said he wouldn't allow him to tell us. So make of that what you will. I was there, present. Within 3 or 4 or 5 feet of Elijah Muhammad. I never met him personally, but I was security for him. And I've been, right? And my wife at that time that passed, she knew him personally because she ran the MGT dress shop. He would come in here from time to time. Her brother was a minister in Indiana. Let's move on, brothers and sisters.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Brothers and sisters, you have no idea what you're up against. And they're blocking this message. And there's a lot of things going on, but they think they're blocking it because they don't understand the science behind it. So, if that was the case, then there would be no point in me even doing this. If I knew they was actually blocking it, what would be the point in doing it? I know better. I know more than they know. Right? And they're going to find out in a minute. And like I was saying, brothers and sisters, I'm going to talk about some things today I haven't talked about before, but we're right here at the door. There's one thing that's going to surprise you that very soon that you didn't expect. And those familiar with the Injil, well, probably don't either. But the thing is, something's going to surprise you. And then after that, it's going to be surprise after surprise. But this is going to be a surprise. Right? But after that, I don't know if I characterize as surprises, but you can be shocked after shock after shock. Because coming in like bam, bam, bam. That's where it says coming like, I'm not a female. I'm not trying to do any, what do you call it, transgender and that kind of stuff, right? But when I understand it, and I've been present at the birth of a couple of my children anyway. And if I understand it, birth pains come quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And that's the way you describe it. So once this war continues, it's going to be pounding. It's going to be loud. It's like a hammer or something. Bam, 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 bam. What's going on? Oh, it's not going to be able to handle it. I'm unprecedented trouble. move on, brothers and sisters. These clowns here, they had any idea what's their near future, near, not months away. I don't know, they'd be on the fast track to another universe or something, because they will not escape. It says the most, did you see what it says? It says the most, let me play that one more time. Because see, people don't pay attention to this. They don't use these words for nothing. They said the most grievous just, with the most in our present times, what can that be like? Let me just play it one more time.
$5,000. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Notice there's two phases, right? Humiliation, disgrace in this world's life. In other words, there's two phases. Right? In a minute, they're going to receive first phase one, humiliation on an unprecedented scale, and then followed up by grievous chastisement. Let me move on. Okay, I continue to play this, brothers and sisters, because make it a point. There's some sick stuff here. Then I got some information that following this. For those that pay attention, see, most of them not paying attention. There's a reason. I'm going to talk a little bit in a minute, right? Yes, he's surrounded by agents. Full-time job. This is not a small thing. What's happening right now is a small thing, because what's happening over there in false Israel over there, it's because of this. You don't understand. This, our people, right? This, what's happening here, what's happening in the world right now, is driven by what's happening to us with a reason. And like I said, if things seem confusing or it doesn't make sense, because you don't have all the data, you have all the information. Once you get all the information, oh, that's why this happened. They say, why is America doing this? Why is they doing that? Why is Arabia doing this? And why are they supporting America, right, against Iran? You say it doesn't make any sense, doesn't add up. But then when you understand the data, the information, all the information, oh, that's why. Because why would they be backing up the students backing up America? And the Quran clearly says you have to take Jews and Christians for friends against their own people, against other Muslims. See, but once you understand the core, because you think, see, we're insignificant. You know, we're not insignificant, but they want you to make you think you're insignificant. Because they say there's going to be this people that's going to rise up and take over the whole world, that means they're very significant. But at first, they're insignificant, like the Bible says. But the point is that they're growing, so everybody's feeling them. And they're reacting. But you don't know that they react to you. It's like you might have an elevator full of people and you got a little midget in there, right? He's the Hulk. He's the, and you don't want to pay attention. There's a little thing right there, but all of a sudden, man, everybody's pressure's building up and everybody's reacting. Say, why is everybody reacting? Why is everybody getting tense? Why is everybody pushing? They can't seem so small. And all of a sudden, boom, they start getting bigger. I don't know if that makes sense, but it ain't to you. But you're gonna find out in a minute. Just move on, brothers and sisters. Here's some sick stuff here. This makes me sick here, but all this stuff makes me sick. But this particular, hold on, here we go.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm going to do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
So, like I said, I may not be able to do this in 1 day, 2 days, but see, know for sure, Farrakhan is an agent for the I can prove it. But he's an agent. He was under control of the devils for quite some time. Right? They've been running the NOI through him. The issue is right what, and I don't know this for sure. Now again, I'm not gonna say something I don't know for sure. This I don't know for sure. Now, those clowns you saw right there, that clown, he may have been working for the 8 devils, but didn't know it because he was controlled by Farrakhan, who was controlled by it. But now that Farrakhan is incontinent and very slightly incoherent, if coherent at all, then they may have to talk to him directly. That's why he's coming out so strong as he is right now, because they were talking to him directly. Because they can't go through, because he may not have known that, he may have known, I don't know. I know Farrakhan was. So maybe Farrakhan was, and he was Farrakhan getting them instructions, and they was working for a devil, didn't know it. But now, and then they may have known it, I don't know, I can't say that. But now that they can't talk to Farrakhan to give him instructions, they may have went directly to them. But I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm not going to tell you something I don't know. But I do know it's still, either way, it's still under control of the devils. I'm going to try to give you an outline to show you it's the intense a comprehensive view, intensity of it. Now, Farrakhan, see, he uses the sealed Bible because that's all they could do, because they don't have the unsealed Bible. He hasn't broken any seals. He never said he has. Elijah Muhammad never claimed he has, never needed a match from Muhammad. Plus, they tell you clearly the Son of Man. That's what I'm saying. How do they say stuff that's clearly, they say clearly the Son of Man will have woolly hair and dark skin. But they keep saying, well, master, so we let that. See, when you say, are these people stupid? or is it intentional? Either way, the information is still bad. They stupid because if they're stupid, then yeah, he can say anything. Yeah, that's the Son of Man, but he's not conformed to the Scripture. Or intentional confuse you, intentionally confuse you. That's one of the reasons why he never does a Q&A. And I promise you all the time, you never Farrakhan doesn't do it because you can destroy him with one question. So anyway, his deception is coming out of the sealed Bible. That's what I'm trying to show you. Coming out of the sealed Bible. Because that is the guidance for the period of time of Yaqub. Yaqub's civilization was guided by the sealed Bible. But now the unsealed Bible, and that is coming in, and that's destroying because it's a greater light. It's a greater light. And it's blowing away the lesser light. I'll leave it there for now.
I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5 And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6 And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
So what it's telling you here is, brothers and sisters, that the Lamb by itself could bring this whole thing down. Because it tells you, they made these 10 kings made war with the Lamb, and the Lamb overcame them. It didn't say, like it says, Master Problem, it says, Michael has angels, but don't say it with the Lamb. Right? That's it. He goes to war, right? He can do it by himself. That's how powerful his light is. That's what it's telling you right there. But let's move on, brothers and sisters. And if he can do it by himself, what the hell could he do with an army behind him? It's faithful and true. Let's move on. Okay, that shit show we just saw right now, but he's talking about, oh, okay, this is what, remember, he claimed, picture of him. Picture of Master Muhammad. Okay, but this is Master Muhammad's words, his lessons. And what does he say there? Why does Muhammad, any Muslim, murder the devil? What is the duty of each Muslim in regards to 4 devils? What reward does a Muslim receive by presenting the 4 devils at one time? Because he's 100% wicked and will not keep and obey the laws of Islam. His ways are 100% wicked. Not 99.9, 100% wicked. Remember, but he said, oh, Father Flake is his brother. Okay? His brother. His ways and acts are like a snake of the grafted type. So Muhammad learned that he could not reform the devils. Can't be reformed. So they had to be murdered. All Muslims murder the devil they know, for murder the devil they know he is a snake. And also, if he be allowed to live, he would sting someone else. That way he got stung them. Each Muslim is required to bring 4 devils and present 4 at one time. His words a button to wear on the lip of his coat, also a free transportation to the holy city. This replies to after the war starts and they will initiate. Our war is defensive war. Okay, let's move to the next one. What is a devil? A grafted man which is made weak and wicked, or be grafted like germ from original is a devil. And can you form it, devil? No. All prophets have tried to form him devil, but were unable. So they have agreed that it cannot be done unless we graft him back to the original man, which takes 600 years. So instead of losing time and graft him back, they decided to take him off the planet, whose numbers are only 1 to every 11 original people. Now that's what Master Muhammad says. Now, what does Farrakhan say? What does they say over there? You want to tell me that's what the God says? See, that's his lessons. And what are they saying? But it doesn't matter over there because the people over there know this. And if you know they know this, you have to conclude one or two conclusions. They're either totally ignorant, dumb, stupid. Because if they in there with him, they have to know this. Because that's one of the information they give him. So even under Farrakhan, they still get this information so he can say, I told them they was there. Or intentionally, they don't give a damn about this. They don't believe Master Muhammad because they work for the devil. That's the only conclusion I come up with. You come up with a different one? Now, bloodbath is getting ready to take place. But first, something's got to happen here first. And then there's a couple of things happen. One thing is going to be a surprise. Then that's before the war resumes. And the war resumes, it's going to be led by Master Muhammad. He will be with Iran and his angels, and Syria also. So it kind of insinuates that Syria's going to recover. But I'm going to leave that alone. That's not important right now. But we know Iran is the king of the north. Keep that in mind. A bloodbath that like you've never seen before. There's no comparison any time in history. Over there, it's going to take over there, bloodbath. And when people see that bloodbath there, it's going to be so terrible, so horrendous. And they're going to know that bloodbath is coming here. It's going to cause people to have heart failure. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Bloodbath. Bloodbath in the Arabs, false Israel, and then here. And the thing is that when they be talking about the Injil, they say, "Oh, the Bible, America's not in the Bible. It's all over the Bible." And they're talking about those seals. They talking about America. All the things you talking about those seals. All the stuff happened. That's happened to America, the 1/4 of the earth. I've said this in years, but I never will point out like I have lately. Like I said, lately, I'm really bringing everything home. You can't say I haven't been saying this. You guys go. They be platforming many times, but still got a few out there. You can go out there go back several years, and I did talk about this in detail. Give it more detail now. See. Because I said 4th Earth, but now I make it really clear. Because out there I did say that 4th of the earth is America. And I'm explaining it clearly. I told you to get clear. As you get closer, I make it clearer and clearer and clearer. Right? So the 4th, whole seals, talking about the earth, about America, what's happened to America, the 4th of the earth. So when you read those 7 seals, and that's coming here, right? There'd be a silence. That silence be broken about. And then bam. We're in the point of silence right now. Something dramatic is going to happen in a minute. False Israel. That war is going to, of course, a bloodbath. And false Israel, the bloodbath, this is going to be off the page. It says it's going to be so bad that fathers are going to be eating their sons, sons eating their fathers. They will not escape. There's no food there. There's no water there. You have to drink urine. Eating each other. And the whole world's going to see it. I told you they're writing their own obituary. Because the whole world's seeing what they're doing right now. This time of consequence. There's always time of consequence. This time of direct consequence. I tried to explain it yesterday. Direct consequence. Everything backfires. So what you've been seeing the last 2 years, is going to see exactly reverse happening to them. There's no pay. They haven't given no pay. No pay. So if you want to know what's going to happen to them, look what's happening. But see, it's going to be even worse. Because these people are not eating each other. But they will be. Why? Because it's more intense. Because 2 years of all that, it's going to come down them in 1 month. Ooh. So they're going to be, ooh. And it says terrible there right now, genocide. So all that comes down them just in 1 month instead of 2 years, and that's spread out. Then you get some idea how bad it's going to be over there. As we broadcast all the drones from the world, and they got to be able to use their nuclear weapons. That's why it says Michael and his angels be involved this year, because Michael has the power to, Master Muhammad has the power to stop their nuclear operations cold. They know it. I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. And then once it's done there, they know. They say, oh, they see the bloodbath over there. They said, damn. And they're going to realize, because this truth be preaching all the world, that bloodbath they see over there, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's not going to be playing. Arabia, when the desert's going to be turned to blood. When you get over there, the desert will be red. Red with blood. Because you got the Shia, they're going to fight the Sunni, and the Sunnis, right? The hatred is all probably Muslim, right? And they're out there, they're deceived, they're the jinn anyway, they're deceived thinking, oh, well, we got to defend God's holy land from Iran. They feel like they're defending Mecca and Medina and the fanatics. So there's not going to be any reservations. They fight the Shia hard, and they will fight the demon, the false Israel, and Gog and Magog. Blood will be astronomical. The desert will be painted red. Just burn each other. And then you got another thing that you can make clear in a minute, but you got that W bomb. How's that going to play out? What's a W bomb? That's a pin up anger in the females over there for being oppressed for over 1,000 years or more. If you had an opposite equal reaction, and they're not subhuman. They're not second class. They're equal, but they've been treated unequally. So therefore, there's a consequence to that. And it's going to explode. How is that going to show up? Ooh. How is that going to... So it's going to backfire on them, the ones that are oppressing them. See? We want to make sure that happen here with us. Make sure understood that, right, that we was doing it out of ignorance, but they was doing it out of dominion, domination. Walk behind me, you got to do what I say. Like in Afghanistan, right? You can't even breathe unless you get permission from a man. It's going to blow. And remember, you got as many women as men or even more. Who's going to catch that explosion? I ain't never talked about that before. In scripture, you got to really dig out the scripture because it's not that clear. But there's consequence. They've been oppressed. And when angel reveals, right? Because still Bible says, okay, it's okay to do that. But the angel says, no, not no more. They're equal. Where's that? Where's the difference? Where's the differential come from? I wanted to talk about calculus. I'm gonna do that another time. See, I mean, you don't know calculus. If I told you calculus, we could prove so much just with calculus. Absolute mathematics. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Read this. But the time is Caesar's, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon them as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. And see, you got to be careful with this because it has some things have, parallel. I explained about, because they were saying peace and safety before so-called October 7th, right? Okay. And people don't pay attention. Look at that carefully. Peace, safety, sudden destruction. See, that suddenly boom, but not destruction. It's genocide and everything else, but this destruction and travail upon a woman. Why? How do you know this particular one? This verse here is talking about right now, because remember the one is talking about when abomination, desolation. Said when you flee. So woe to those who are pregnant with child. This particular one here is talking about what they're talking right now. Peace and safety. We got an agreement going on. Sudden. Happen anything now, bro and sisters, but this one special thing has happened before that. Peace and safety. That's what we're talking about. Oh, now we're gonna have a ceasefire. We're gonna have peace. I'm gonna get the Nobel Peace Prize. It says coming from like a woman was a child. Right? Like I said, boom, 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 boom. Oh. So, hope you don't get caught up in that, brothers and sisters. We trying to prevent you from getting caught up in that. But some of you will. And the people that are responsible for that, they're gonna pay a price. But then again, you partly responsible for what happens to yourself. Are you out here looking for? You're supposed to be seeking the message of the covenant. So if you're not doing that, and you get caught up, then whose fault is that? You got the scripture there. Understand, if you follow Exodus, you can't go wrong. That's one thing they put in that story. If you follow Exodus, you can't go wrong. There's no way to go wrong with that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that shall overtake you as a thief. That means you've been seeking, you got your eyes open. You should catch you by surprise. It's going to catch some of you by surprise. What's this? Oh, Alzheimer's. Okay, watch this, brothers and sisters. It's Exodus. It's Exodus here. We got this about Exodus. That's simple. Can't go wrong with Exodus. Just follow what Exodus says. Storyline. And you want well, why? Because if you look at Exodus, you see right there something's wrong with the way they presenting it. Just follow it. Watch this. Oh, the God comes. He kicks it off. Start preparing the way. He kicks it off. That's what Exodus says. Him that I am, right? And what does he do? Boom! He raised a messenger. That's what Exodus says. They call him Moses in Exodus, but Malachi says his name is actually Elijah. That's what it says. Okay, so And those people over there right now, they're going along with that part. They say, yeah, that's us. They go, remember, those being part of the book and this being the other? Right? The high parts of it. Well, they go along with that part. They won't argue with you on that one. Yeah, that's problem. He's the God. And then they won't have no problem with that one, right? And then what? Oh, then Elijah asked for a spokesman. But they got a problem with that one because they claim he was anointed by the God, and that's not true. Just read it. The God was against it. He told Moses, you don't need him. He was against it. In fact, he got physically mad. It says he got physically angry with Moses for even asking for him. He didn't want him. But they say he was anointed. That's a lie right there. So that's your first big lie. Right? He was anointed. No, he was not. It's Aaron. And then what happens? So the master, God will come, Elijah will teach for 40 some years, he would depart, and then, then Aaron would run it 40 some years. But he was bad news. He was bad news. You turn the people around, the God says, he ain't teaching what you, the God says right next to us. He's not teaching what you taught him. He's not teaching what I've been teaching you. It says it right there. See what I'm saying here? He's exposed. All you have to do is he's exposed for who he is. But then, why are you not reading that? Because, like I said, either they're simply stupid or they're agents. Because that's clear. Like I said, they accept the first two parts. The third part, oh no. And they even say he's Aaron. But then you read Aaron was no good. He makes a promise that he died in the wilderness. He got all his followers killed. All of them. Slaughtered. That's what Exodus says. So how come they got a problem with that? Those being part of the book, this being the other. So they read this and they try, oh, how am I shutting him up? Because if your eyes are open, you can't go wrong on this. Okay? And then what happens? And then it said Joshua would come. It said Joshua was with Moses, with Elijah. But he was around while Aaron, he just laid back in the cut, like they say, you know. Let Aaron run it. And then when Aaron's time ran out, right, the God transferred the power of Elijah over to him. That's what it says. And he the one broke the 7 seals. That's how you would know him, because no one else could do it but him. That's the story of Exodus. It says he would be the one that would take you home. He would fill the covenant, the messenger of the covenant. They say the same thing in Malachi. Malachi repeats the same thing, but there was one in Malachi that was cursed for robbing the nation. So which one of those would it be? If you read Exodus, which one of those was cursed? Was Elijah cursed for robbing the nation? Was he one cursed for robbing God? So they ain't the God doing it because he wasn't robbing himself. So you say Elijah, so somebody was robbing the God and cursed for it. What's a curse? Ask any man what a curse is. You get your ass blown up and you're pissing shit in a bag at 55 years old. That's a curse. All you have to follow Exodus. You can't go wrong. So you see people out there talking their stuff. That means they're essentially stupid or they're liars. Because there's no way in the world they can say that stuff they're saying when they can find. That's why they'll never take the $5,000, because they can't find any verse that backs that shit they're saying. They're eating their own shit. They call it honey. That's Exodus. That's clear. Oh yeah, you have to use a computer. That's clear. Exodus. Let's look a little further. Then what happens? See, this is what you're up against here. Right? Now, this is Exodus, how it tells you. Boom. Okay. The devils know this. And so therefore they got to find a way to make sure you don't see it because it's clear. Make sure you don't see it. You understand? Because it's there. They got to make sure you don't see it. So, okay. Like Muhammad said, he had this powerful plan. Oh, anything you have for that stuff. They got to do hide the truth about it and everything else. They go, why hide so much about it? Because they got to neutralize Master Prophet Muhammad. That didn't happen. He ain't no God. Because he don't have no power. They have to neutralize, because that's what Elijah Muhammad said. That's his power right there. See? So why they hiding the fact about so this? People say, why are they doing that? Because they're attacking this. I told you, they're attacking this. That's why when you get all the information, why they hide this? Why hide about UFO? Because Elijah Muhammad said UFO, that's us. That's not somebody out from Mars, Pluto. That's why they hide it. Because that's proof that he's the God. He's there. They got to neutralize him. Right? And then, at the same time, neutralize Elijah. And who's the most credible person to do it? His own son. He's an agent too. They paid him off the bad master because he went out to destroy everything his father did, everything. He came in, he was actually, Elijah said it was no damn good because he banned him from the nation permanently. We got him on tape saying it. He banned him. He said it himself. He banned him permanently because he didn't see his own family. Elijah recognized who he was and banned him. So how did he get control of the NOI? How did he get control of it? When he was officially banned when Elijah Muhammad departed. And he destroyed the nation totally. And he banned his father, said, father was no messenger. So who's the most credible person to do it? His own son. If son do it, it must be true. And start some colonialians. That's what it's all about. He's paid off. Destroy his father, and that's what he did. He went out to destroy everything his father did, destroy it all. And the God too. The God wasn't no God, he was a trickster. You think this just happens? This is what the government is doing, is set you up to get rid of you. Because they know what's have to happen, who you are. Pharaoh said, hey, we can't let them go. Okay, so what's next? Okay. Then here. He's got to be the Son of Man now. He's got to be the one after Elijah. Nobody else after him. All of a sudden, there's nobody after Aaron. They never talk about them Joshua. Never. Never talk about Joshua. Never talk about the mission of the covenant. Never talk about that at all. He's the last one. The last one. There's no Exodus. This whole distorted view of Exodus, whole distorted view of Exodus. It's designed to keep you from seeing what's going on there. Keep from seeing Joshua, keep seeing the God, and keep you recognize Elijah as the messenger. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly, I'm not making that up. That's why they're there. They're all working for the government. So that's the picture you have right now. Ain't no mother plane, ain't no UFOs out, ain't no mother plane. If that plane exists, that means they're more powerful than America. If that plane exists, they're more powerful than America. They can take America out. I don't worry about that, man. Nobody can mess with us. See? That's why they're hiding UFOs. Because if that's true, like Muhammad talked about, that means we got the power. Oh, no, we can't have them doing that. Now, don't forget about the false sign. They said in 48, false sign of Israel. Not real. And then it said his son had to destroy everything. He didn't come out there and say anything good about his father. He destroyed everything. Now how is that? Everything. The name, he got rid of the name, took all the money, ripped the money off him and Farrakhan together, and left nothing for anybody. all the believers, hard work believers did, they left with nothing. They stole all the money, and he totally destroyed everything his father did. So why would the son do that? Because he was paid to do it. And then Farrakhan comes along. He was bad mouthing. He was right along with him. And he come along and say, okay, we ain't going nowhere. Remember the mess of the covenant? No, I'm the last one. Ain't no mess of the covenant. And don't even talk about him. No Joshua. I'm it. I'm the Messiah. See, brothers and sisters, you don't see that? Let's move on. I'm going to do this part two. I can't do all that. I got a lot for you, brothers and sisters, but let's go on. Now, see this? A little bit about the UFO, I'm going to play some of it. Now it's starting to come out because everything you hide is coming out. This truth is forcing everything out. It says, and what you hide is going to be in the dark, we broadcast on the rooftops. And that's one of the reasons why they do all the stuff they're doing right now because well, I told you the dilemma they have with false Israel. I mentioned that yesterday. I mentioned a little bit right now. Thing is that they got all these top security. They got a lot of these people pretending they hide the fact they're Jewish. Then you got some of them that stone Zionists that, 100% with them that's not Jewish, but they paid off and everything else. So they mingle in with them and they talk to them in private. And start conversations about us. And have them saying exactly how they feel about us, what they got planned for us. And they take it secretly. And that's why they're holding over them. That's why they don't want to reveal it. Because when they reveal this, when this stuff, that's why they're doing everything they can to stop it. Because when they reveal this information, so-called this secret information they're supposed to have, you see what they really think. They see it in the background. Because you start seeing it come down. This little curve thing. You start seeing this above and to the top. Oh, this is a white America. If you want to lock them, you got to do it like we want it, or you can get your ass out of here. Starting to come out, top figures. Starting to come out. The attitudes. And look at all the things he's doing, closing in on you, putting military in the streets, provoking you. Because right now, if you get up and start trying to ride anything, they can shoot you down. They don't have to rescue you and all that kind of stuff anymore. Just blow your ass away. Because if they're doing it over in the Middle East, they can easily do it here because they're always getting everybody set. That's another story. I'll move on, brothers. Listen a little bit of this.
Yes, sir. Dr. Guy, could you give me how did you become aware of it?
A colleague of mine who I referenced previously, Chris Mellon, he wrote an extensive article about this, that there were other incursions of drones over Langley before this, as well as many, many military installations over the last 5 decades.
And it's my understanding that there's been an ever increasing in number and trying to think how to say this because I wear 2 different hats. I'm still in the Air Force. So, I mean, it seems that they're becoming increasingly brash. And the question that we really
Okay, bro. So I think I brought the wrong video in, so I'll show it tomorrow because it cut off. So let me take a quick look at it. I didn't do something wrong with it. Hold on for a minute. No, it's all there. I don't know why I cut off. I guess they're my system again. It's all there. Okay. Let me just do it this way.
Comment, sir. Genuinely do not know.
Don't know, but we must find out.
On sonar data. And this was in the 80s in the North Atlantic during a storm, and it outpaced his submarine by orders of magnitude.
Are you aware of any hotspots that currently exist off our shores in North America?
Not with sufficiently credible data, ma'am.
Okay, we've heard reports of there potentially being hotspots, maybe entry and exit points. Have you heard of any of that?
I have it not, ma'am, but my colleague here, Mr. Elizondo, does discuss some USO activity that he's observed in certain DoD databases.
Mr. Elizondo, in regards to these aircraft being piloted by whatever they might be, non-human biologics, would you agree that it's likely that they are being piloted by some mind-body connection?
Ma'am, I think it is safe to presume here that they are being intelligently controlled because some cases seem to anticipate our maneuvers. And in other cases, they seem to, I came across an email where the word stalked was used in a very secure email between Navy officers discussing their ships being pursued by a UAP.
In our previous panel, we had Grush, and he had testified to say that some of these were interdimensional beings. Can you speak on that at all?
Ma'am, I'm not qualified, certainly as a scientist or otherwise, to speculate points of origin. I looked at everything from a scientific perspective. So if you look at, for example, instantaneous acceleration, which was one of the observables of the program that I belong to, ATIP, the human body can withstand about 9 G-forces for a short period of time before you suffer negative biological consequences, blackouts and ultimately redouts and even death. Comparison, our best technology, the F-16, which is it's an older platform, but one of our most highly maneuverable aircraft, manned aircraft, made by General Dynamics, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start having structural failure, meaning that the airframe begins to disintegrate while you're flying. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
So would it be safe to infer that they're living craft?
I'm not prepared at this point to state for the record is something alive or not, because even that definition, there was a process as a form of energy.
Do any not their religion?
I've always been a nuts and bolts.
Like just based on our hearing the reports of that.
Money on funding and art at the wrong end of technological.
Had any experience with submersible objects?
Sir, I've no personal experience, but I've had witnesses on submarines come to me and say they've seen on sonar data.
Correct. Okay. How would you characterize those, and how do they move?
The one instance that was revealed to me was in the 80s on a nuclear-powered submarine, a ballistic missile submarine, that the object exhibited the characteristics of a Russian torpedo in terms of its speed of movement and closing rate with the submarine, and then it slowed and followed the submarine slowly in its wake for a period of minutes, and then rapidly exited the scene. And nothing that we know of, and technology-wise, could replicate that.
And the speed of these objects was faster than anything that we have or anybody else has that would be manned. Is that correct?
It was on the order
Underwater.
of a torpedo. So
yes, sir.
We got that right, or not? At least
Close
Force Base.
Yes, sir.
The owners of the intelligence community airports, is it
to suggest that there is certainly some sort of relationship between sensitive U.S. military installations, also some of our nuclear equities, and also some of our Department of Energy sites. There is a long historical record that some of your colleagues may have, documentation that demonstrates this. This is not a new trend. This has been going on for decades, and that information has been obfuscated, unfortunately, from folks like you in this committee. And I think that's problematic because ultimately, at the end of the day, we have a significant situation here. We have something that can enter into U.S. airspace completely with no attribution.
And how long has this been going on?
Sir, decades, and there's information that will hopefully be entered into the record.
Can you think of any possible reason why they can't release any information they have on something, say, 15 or 20 years old?
Sir, if I could echo my colleague here, Admiral Gallaudet, I think one of the big issues that we have in the intelligence community, Department of Defense, is we don't want to broadcast any potential vulnerabilities or weaknesses in our national defense systems or on intelligence collection platforms. Therefore, when you have a conversation where you address a problem for which there is no solution, it makes that a very uncomfortable conversation. I echo my colleague's comment, sir.
Genuinely do not know.
Don't know, but we must find out.
I have a better one. I'll put it in prep tomorrow. Actually, videos. They know about it, but why they hiding it? Because that will confirm the God. Because he talked about that. He told Elijah Muhammad about it. They don't want you. They want to keep a total blackout. You have any information about who you are, what you are, what's going on. Total blackout, and they've succeeded to a great extent. So that's what that's all about. Okay. Keep UFOs, out of the public sphere. So look at this. This is designed to keep you from understanding who Master Muhammad is too. Listen to this.
So long till they don't know the birth record. So they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong. But he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days. So long until they don't know.
So that's the first step, diminishing who man's prophet is. That's totally against what Elijah Muhammad taught. It says you can't make God other than a man. See, slowly pick away who he is, chip away. You can't do it. You know, see, Wallace made the mistake of take a frog, you throw him in hot water, he's going to jump right out. But put him in cold water and then slowly heat up, he won't notice the difference. Before you know it, he's boiled. So he diminishing who man's prophet is. Oh, but he's pointing to another God, because if gods don't pray to anybody. But no, he's pointing to a mystery God. He's telling you, like Mom says, no such thing as a mystery God. He's pointing you back to a mystery God, slowly but surely. Because he said, oh, you can't worship the flesh, so this mystery God is something. He don't give him a name or anything. He's just the originator. Who he is. He's just, you got to worship him. See? You don't pray to Master Muhammad. Slowly, boy. See? And those clowns, they know, I ain't talking to them. Like I said, either totally stupid or the agents. Let's look at, let's go a little further here. This is his son. He totally destroyed everything Elijah Muhammad did. He took and destroyed everything. He got rid. No nation of Islam, no more. Master Muhammad ain't no God. Elijah is no messenger. He was totally against his father, totally 100%. Says father lied to us. Master Muhammad was a trickster. Got something called Belerians, got rid of NOI. Liquidated all the assets, left the police with nothing. Nothing. And talking about his one where everybody worshipped Sunniism. Okay? So he was destroyed. That's what, remember, you got to destroy Master Muhammad as being the God. You got to destroy Elijah Muhammad as being the messenger. You get the point? That's those two things did right there. Wait, why? Why are they going all this to do this? Because they don't want you to know who you are. Because you're the threat. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Let's look at this one. He's the Messiah, right? Okay, let's see what about that.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadakuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother minister. Both sides.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
Notice that, brothers and sisters? He's the Messiah, right? Okay. Remember the lessons? They're 100% wicked, can't be reformed. That's not fair. I'm not saying it. You say just the opposite. That's the God now, he claims. He said they're 100% wicked, it can't be reformed, had to be taken on plan. He said he don't want to see that. He's supposed to be the Messiah, attuned. He's supposed to be the will of Allah. So Allah has two wills against each other. And then, that's what you got to say about enemy, open enemy. But what you got to say about the ones that's feeding him, made him rich? Both sides, male and female. He got love for the enemy, our enemy, because they his enemy, because his father's the devil. He's not seed Abraham. So he got love for them. I don't want to see what happen to him. I love them. But for us, our people, the ones that's making him rich, he's the ones he's ripping off, thieving, lying to. You see what you got for them? I'll worm, eat your ass. They're putting us steaks on his plate. You see? And then, remember, he's connected back to, wow, he connected back to, wow, that's how I told you, Wow's complete enemy to his father, but he's friends with him. Because they're on the same page. They're on the same page, brothers and sisters. Neutralize God, neutralize Elijah, destroy Elijah, neutralize the God, destroy Elijah, undermine the God, destroy Elijah. And they never mentioned Joshua at all. Never. They never mentioned that message of covenant. In fact, they say that's a lie. Because he's a message of covenant. What's the covenant? That we leave here, and Muhammad said we'd be fools to want to stay here. The Exodus says we go home. Malachi says we go home, right? The covenant says we go home, but he said we're not going nowhere. Because Joshua is the final target. Don't talk about Joshua at all. Now look at this. See? This is not something they set up. That shows they work for the devil, because it's something the devil set up to destroy a whole idea about Joshua. They made up this Jesus. Don't exist. They keep you from seeing Joshua. Because the name Jesus does not exist in scriptures anywhere. Doesn't exist. Oh, I look at my Bible, no. Your Bible is a translation from Aramaic or the Hebrew, and the name Jesus not in there anywhere. The name in there Joshua, but they never talk about Joshua. Malachi's never mentioned Joshua at all, never. He never mentioned the covenant. He talks about we being in 400 years, but the next verse, he doesn't mention it. Never. In fact, those words says, we ain't going nowhere calling God a liar. Just look at this. Look at this. Jesus, watch this. Now, if you go and look at the Aramaic here, this is the Bible, so-called Old Testament, New Testament is translated from the Aramaic or the Hebrew, not Greek. Let's look at this.
Aramaic Bible in plain English. 1 And a certain man was sick, Lazar of the town of Bethany, the brother of Miriam and of Martha. 2 This Miriam was the one who had anointed the feet of Yeshua with ointment and wiped them with her hair, whose brother Lazar was sick. 3 And his 2 sisters sent to Yeshua, and they were saying,
I'm going to leave it there, bro. It says I can read the whole thing. I'm not going to do this in one day. But the name they use is Joshua, which is just Joshua. They don't say this name Jesus not in there. It's not there. The name they use is Joshua. Joshua. Same name. How you know? Because when you go back and look at the so-called Old Testament, right? It's the same name they use for Joshua. Same name. They're talking about Joshua after Moses. That's how you know it's not the deviation. Joshua's the name they use there. You don't find the name Jesus in anywhere. It's just not there. It's where it comes from. Let's go to the next one here.
Aramaic Bible in plain
Here in the Bible, the name is Joshua, right? See what I'm saying? This is the Hebrew. So if you say Aramaic, well, here's the Hebrew. That's the name, not Jesus. Joshua. So where the name Jesus comes from? You will not find the name Jesus in the manuscripts anywhere. It's just not there. And see, he's the one that succeeded Moses, but they don't talk about that. They say, oh, it's Aaron. They said, no, Joshua is a prominent figure succeeding Moses. They don't even mention Aaron because Aaron did not succeed Moses. He was against Moses. He turned people against Moses, turned people against the God. It says in Exodus, it said he turned the people against God and Moses. It says it right in Exodus, and that's exactly what Farrakhan's done. He claimed them, but he actually teaches just the opposite. Go read it for yourself. Says God sent Moses back, said, man, he's going against everything you taught him. He ain't teaching what we taught him. So he got himself and his people killed. All you got to follow Exodus. You can't go wrong. But if you're an agent, you don't want to talk about Exodus. You don't even talk about it because it's so clear. And they stop right there with Aaron. But what about Joshua? He's the one who takes the promised land. Well, they said it doesn't exist. They said the promised land don't exist. We ain't going nowhere. So why don't we talk about Joshua? He's the one that come after Moses. But what happened to Aaron? See? I'm trying to tell you, you have no idea what you're up against. So much I could tell you, but I can't get you to understand 5 + 5 yet. I sure can't get you in algebra. I'm trying to get deeper and deeper to brothers and sisters, but like I said, can't get you to wake up. You're going to wake up in a minute the hard way. Experience is the best teacher, but leave scars, brothers and sisters. You're going to have some scars. That's Joshua. Name Jesus, Jesus is just not there. And name Christ is not there either. That's a Greek word. Christ is a Greek word. It's not in the Bible. It's not in the manuscripts. The actual name there is Joshua the Messiah. That's what's in the manuscript. So how come they say, where did Jesus come from? The actual name in the manuscripts in Aramaic and in Hebrew is Joshua the Messiah. And Joshua was the one to take us. He was with Moses. And he'd take us to the promised land, the mess of the covenant. He fulfills the covenant. They don't mention that. See? You know, Jesus Christ, where does Jesus Christ come from? He don't exist. Joshua Messiah is the one that exists. That's the one they talk about. Right? But they said no. They stopped right at Aaron. They said, well, Elijah, eternal leader of the nation of Islam. That's not what Scripture say. Doesn't say anything like that. It's clear. Okay, let's move on. Let's analyze this. Now, what you do if you're going to translate, if you got the manuscripts, Aramaic, Hebrew, you translate it, you want to know what you speak English or Spanish, you want to translate it directly to Spanish or English, whatever language you speak, right? Isn't that what you normally would do? That makes sense. Okay. Hey, can you translate it to English for me? Can you translate the English for me from manuscript? Go to somebody, a translator? Okay. And then you got, well, if you do that, you will not get Jesus. You get Joshua. You won't get Jesus if you do that. Because he's not there. Now I get $1,000 if you can go and prove me wrong. It's not there. So what you do? Ooh, you go over here and translate here for, what you do that for? Why you translate the Greek and then translate the English? Why would you do that? That means why you would do that? I mean, you have to purposely do that. Why would you? I don't speak Greek. Why you translate the Greek for? You know English because you're going to translate Greek back to English. So why waste time translating Greek and then translate to English? Why would you waste time doing that? Because they're all after you. They know you're going to come at the end of the age and that you're going to take back your crown, gods and goddesses, and they've been planning this. It's said to be planned. I'm going to show you in a minute if I have time. Otherwise, I'll do it tomorrow. But that don't make any sense. That's what he did. And then what happens when you do that? See, over in the Greek, they got this guy named Zeus. He's like the Allah in the Greek. He's the top god, no god, but he's the highest god. No god. He's the most, he's the highest god. No god higher than him. Super god, whatever. His name is Zeus. That's the Greek god. His name is Zeus. He's the god of heavens, the Father. He ain't the god of earth, god of heavens. But see, in Greek, they have a prefix, Ge, that stands for, take my word for it, go check it out, stands for earth. Anything had to do with earth, like geology, geometry, geophysics, those are Greek words. Check it out, take my word for it. And the Ge means it has something to do with the earth, like transportation, transport, transfer, right? Transgender means you change it from something else. That's trans. So that's a prefix. When you see that, it's kind of transformation taking place. Transfer or something. When you see G, it has something to do with the earth. Remember, he's defined not the God of earth, but the God of heavens, God of the sky. He's the Father. So who's the God of earth then? See here? And you don't have no Ge in Greek, like you don't have Ge in Spanish. Somebody named Jesus, they call him Jesus. They don't call him Jesus, because they don't pronounce it Je. They don't do it in Greek either. But they do have a Ge. So they put Ge with the Zeus, Jesus. Jesus. So if you come from Greek, you speak Greek, and you come to America, they say, what's your name? My name is Jesus. And so they write it down in English, and it's going to write it down like Jesus. They said Jesus. That's where it came from. The God of the earth, because Jesus will build his kingdom on the earth. That's what they got you worshiping something that don't exist. And the whole idea about this one, you got to forgive all your enemies. So all the shit he did to us, we're just supposed to forgive him. We're supposed to obey no matter what they do to us. That's bullshit. That's slavery. That's to keep you in bondage and keep you from retaliating for all the shit they did to us. Oh, we just got to forgive them. And you submit to anything It's all bullshit. That don't exist. Now prove me wrong. Get $1,000. Prove me wrong. Find Jesus in the scripture anywhere. It's directly from Greek and Hebrew. Was you got to go to Greek to do that. So why do they do that? Because they give you this. Because it's a lie. And why? Because it gets you not to see Joshua. When they translated Joshua, you would go in Exodus and see who is Joshua. Oh. And if you understand the times, Joshua would be here now. He'd been somebody who was with Elijah. He'd be against Aaron, Farrakhan. He'd be preaching the covenant, taking you home. See? But now you got Jesus. Oh, he won't come from the clouds. And he's going to save false Israel. He won't take you to heaven. All this bullshit. It don't exist. He don't exist. Now prove me wrong. $1,000, prove me wrong. He don't exist. I just showed you. Now go in the manuscript to find a Jesus. You won't find it. Jesus. Jesus don't exist and Jesus don't exist either. That's believing bullshit. I'm going to tell you to forgive your enemies. What it tells you? It said, do them double they did to you. You know what it tells you? Do double unto them what they did to you. He said, you're going to trample your enemies, come with judgment. He said, they're going to come to judge the people. But Farrakhan reversed the thing. He says, no, you're equal, you're wicked. You need to atone. And you're here because you are sinful. That's not what the scriptures say. Exodus says, it says, they're going to judge this nation that did all this stuff to us. Not us, judge them. First everything. You get it now? Understand? Let's move on. There it is. Jesus be his king be on earth. God the earth. Here you go. Behold, our son messenger. He prepared way before me. And the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. He come to Elijah's temple. Even the messenger of the covenant, which they never speak about. But that's the one you're supposed to be seeking. You should be seeking that. Whom you delight in. He's the one who's going to take you home and shall come, said the Lord. But he may abide there of his coming. For he shall stand when he appears. Because he ain't come for no bullshit. Right? Who stand? That's what these devils, well, they're going to be in trouble when this happens. When thrones are cast down, the ancient days is set, with wool hair and dark skin, Farrakhan them is destroyed. That's going to happen any day now. Oh, when that war starts up, Farrakhan's toast. He's through. Him and all the people with him. And Lord, who would abide there is coming? Who shall stand when he appears? He's like a refined fire and like full of soap. So as a refiner purifies silver, shall purify the sons of Levi. Remember Exodus? All the Levi, they came with Moses. All the rest of them, they stayed with Aaron. And all the Moses people killed them, wiped them out, slaughtered them all. Everybody was with Aaron, he slaughtered them. Okay? There you go, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'll repeat a couple of things. I'll read them close. Okay. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass, the Lord spake unto Joshua, not Aaron, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant is dead. Therefore arise and go over this Jordan, go home, not stay here in New York, Philly, Detroit. Now therefore rise and go over this Jordan and thou and all his people unto the land which I will give them. Oh no, we ain't going nowhere. See, he calling God a liar. That don't do nothing for you. He said we ain't going nowhere. Go over this Jordan down that people unto the land which I shall give them, even the children of Israel. Every place the sole of your feet shall tread upon, and I have given unto you. And I said unto Moses, from the wilderness of this Lebanon, even unto the great river Euphrates. That's Arabia. All the land of Hittites and unto the great sea toward the going down the sea shall be your coast. Not New York. There There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, I will with thee. He ain't gonna get no cancer, get his ass blown up like Farrakhan did. God was protecting him. What God was there? He can stay the fuck away from me. That's the kind of protection you give. Get your ass all blown up and everything else. What God? That must be Satan, right? This says you protected. You don't have to worry about nothing. I got your back. I will not fail thee. So you say, oh, they put Elijah in jail. They never put his hands on. Nobody put his hand on Elijah. They had, we wouldn't be here now, because he promised him I'll protect. But he told him he would be thrown in prison. Everything else. Elijah Mama told us that. Master Mama told him those things would happen to him, but they would not hurt him. They would not harm him. They never one ever did. And I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. Be strong and good courage. For unto this people shall thou divide for an inheritance in the land which I swear to thy fathers to give them. That's the covenant. He's a messenger of the covenant. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to left, and that thou mayest prosper wheresoever thou goest. This book, O Lord, shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Have not I commanded thee, be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee wherever thou goest. I ain't worried about a goddamn thing. Nothing. Okay. And I don't pray to anybody. Gods don't pray. And I don't teach the people, we're all gods and goddesses. Teach you to take control of yourself. Gods control their own environment, their own energy. Master Muhammad didn't come here to make us slaves, and he doesn't pray to anybody. We're gonna pray. Oh boy. Okay, let me say this and I'm closed, brothers and sisters. The snare. Look at this. Watch this.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
And that's their plan against us. That's not false Israel talking about, it's about us. They don't want you to know that. We think false Israel is the object. No, it's you.
They have said, come, and let's wipe them out as a nation, so that the name of Israel will no longer be remembered.
What about you, brothers and sisters? Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'll pick up the rest tomorrow.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, But I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
"49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? 50. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. 52. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. 53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, brother minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, brother minister. Both sides. That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right. That's right.
We owned buildings.
That's right.
We owned farmland.
That's right.
We were busy doing something, hiring our people.
That's right.
Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
notice when they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics? I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, you know, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, you know, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, like, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. Like, I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't, like you, I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, you know, Keir Starmer campaigned on, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is, like, is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just, like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well,
I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been such a
society
thing.
Is
One
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere all the time.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere all the time.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All all I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and like have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. Like that's just what it is, dude.
But
Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Like, which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, cause the rest of it suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation,
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence. that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, What's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even rolling. They're not even subtle about it. What this White House is doing, they believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division, and that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff for Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along along those lines. And this whole idea about, oh no, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks of the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians. Christians in the name of Jesus, where they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean it up, I get, well, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was endured was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today, they took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. It didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping our women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black, and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus, what could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection a microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate in the slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. There's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? Legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? Where's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. The legacy of Christianity has been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays. where you should be honoring Jesus, you are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house, and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today they are beating and country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why is it that you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, watching to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and We're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and trade it for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we get reports of how things are going over there, and it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations, because they was given they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see, yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them. They stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land, and they can make reconciliation with former slave masters. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came here. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they had a big master. They came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, but he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told him 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared him for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But now I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say they looked and the farmers wasn't on the farmers said, oh. So then they had master, what's happening here? How come right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. She said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they're praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's massive no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparation, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they're crying and begging the master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Why don't you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes from nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how is that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep they thought that was just going to, I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They you know, business, they didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, you know, because, I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he thought, if he said, God said that's where he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to really create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. It's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people and you know, on all the white folks, right? All the black folks, and all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So they said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take that money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million a piece. So everybody got $1 million a piece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. You know, if you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates have to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's what all this worth. $1 hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You got to have your own money. You control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees and took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you bury it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on, the money hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to get those communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You don't know how to engineer, build a house. You don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You still had your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We're sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you could call your land now. Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe call it Traveland. Farrakhan. Named after Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, in places, just in that land, that you 6 states. And now you're starving, you ain't got your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. It turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? And what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? You know how much that is? If it's 17 million, that's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded. Because they closed the border. What you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, which was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you know, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and living in the get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here with they. Because you know they're trying to get rid of stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Of course, come here. Disaster over there. And I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what something they call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farad Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the pastor said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farad Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You chose, you made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to them. Said, would we please come and get them? Nope. Said, no, tell them no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reparations, you got your money, you got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him, talk to him, let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, well, since that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, they're not getting more reports on papers. Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, got those rides that came in. All that came in today, man. Came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they're begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send them some food. Master Muhammad said, no, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send us some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.